Good morning, sleepyheads. Look at this view. It is day 19 of visiting all 50 states in 50 days. Last night we slept in a 60-foot tall lookout tower in the mountains of northern Georgia. This is definitely the most beautiful wake up we've had so far in this adventure. We're basically in a glass house, and we just got to watch the sunrise over these beautiful trees. That's so nice. Today we are heading to a new state and a new Airbnb. The adventure continues, but first, morning routine? First, I walk over to the bathroom. I notice a moth on the window. It looks so cool and wise. I don't know anything about moths, or really about insects at all. I brush my teeth. I wonder if anyone is going to accept the bounty to shave my beard. I walk back to the main room, make some coffee. I run a mile to keep my run streak in every state going, and enjoy the sunrise. It is beautiful here. And now we're on the roof of the tower. Good morning, Haley.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
For those who didn't watch yesterday, we had to park our minivan, take a Jeep across a river, and drive a mile through rolling hills to get to this tower. We forgot the trophy in the minivan.
Forgetting the trophies on me, guys.
But that doesn't change anything. We still need to update our coolest house ranking. Yes, Haley and I are going to all 50 states, but we're also trying to find the coolest Airbnb in America. So we're staying in cool Airbnbs in every state, and that's why we're here. You think you have a good answer?
Oh, it's getting so hard every time.
On three, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 3.
3.
8?
Wow. Let me see that list again. I love the top 3. You're replacing the Utah Star Wars hut.
Think about how unique this experience is. We got to drive a Jeep that wasn't ours through a river to a secluded location that has the most beautiful views.
It was really, really cool, but the Star Wars one was like a community.
Where are you gonna meet me, Haley? You're telling me the Florida container home is cooler?
Yeah, I like it better. If you want to make it above the container house, we can do that.
After much deliberating, we met at 4. Now we need to use the lift to bring our luggage down 60 feet. Game plan. Before we can even talk about getting to another state, we need to get back to our minivan. We have to take this Jeep about a mile from here, through a river, and get back to our Kia. Courtney, don't worry, we're coming. And Haley, the next state that we're going to, any guesses?
Tennessee.
No. I'm just kidding. No, it is Tennessee. The next state that we're going to, Haley, is Tennessee.
No way.
We are staying in such a pretty part of Tennessee. Have you ever heard of Pigeon Forge?
No.
Really?
No, I haven't.
Oh. Remember when I went to Dollywood?
Yeah.
It's that area.
Oh, okay.
It's so pretty. We're staying in a really cool Airbnb. I don't even really know how to describe it. Just know it's awesome. And they have a washer and dryer. Haley and I are stinky. We haven't washed our clothes since Mississippi. That was 6 states ago. This is my last clean outfit.
I won't be commenting on the state of my clothes.
With all that being said, it is only a little bit over 3 hours to the next Airbnb, but we're leaving early because I want to spend time in the town, Pigeon Forge. It looks so cool. Maybe we get some lunch or something.
Yeah.
Haley, you ready to ford a river?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Why is the wheel moving so much? There's that creek.
Okay. I cannot believe you have to do this to get to the Airbnb. Safely made it back to the Kia. Before we transfer our luggage, I need to ride the electric this morning and tonight to make up for yesterday. Basically, every time I ride the electric, we unlock a $10,000 donation. Didn't do it yesterday because it was in the Kia. There was a river, long story. But Levi from Electric said I could just do it twice today. So let's do it. Here's the river. Looks so cool. Back in the Kia.
Feels good.
And we're off to Tennessee.
How can I help you?
Hey there. What kind of coffees do you guys have?
We just have black coffee and blue tab.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me ask my wife if she wants anything.
Okay.
Want to go to the gas station?
Yeah. We're gonna thank you. We're gonna have... You guys Guys, we've been driving for hours, and let me tell you, there hasn't been a single highway. Honestly, if we had to spin the Wheel of Doom last night and it landed on Detour, it would have been about the same as we're doing right now. No highways allowed? Yeah, we're already doing that.
It has been one of the most beautiful rides, though.
Tennessee, Smoky Mountains, it's gorgeous. I cannot believe it's so pretty here. I did get car sick a couple times, but that's just natural whenever you got the windy roads.
And I never see this man car sick, even when he is working on his laptop. Doesn't faze him usually.
We woke up early this morning specifically so we could spend more time in this town called Pigeon Forge. I came here before because I was going to different theme parks for another video, and I went to Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, and I just remember, wow, this is the cutest town. Hopefully I get to go with Haley someday. And now, here we are, we're going.
Woo!
So we're gonna explore a little bit, grab some lunch, do a new state unlocked at some point. It's gonna be a good day. And I'll reveal to you the Airbnb listing later.
I can't wait because this drive has been making me excited to see where we're staying.
Next stop, Pigeon Forge. Dolly Parton statue. Where are we? I did not drive over here.
Whoa, the Titanic!
This town is so cool because it just feels like a big amusement park. There's a castle with wizard hats. Everywhere you look, it's like entertainment. We made it to Pigeon Forge. We found this cute little diner called Mel's Diner. Looks like a good spot to grab a bite to eat. But before we do that, we made it to Tennessee. You know what that means. New state unlocked. We made it to Tennessee. Oh my gosh, look at all that progress.
It looks so good.
Now I just gotta bring the Wheel of Doom into Mel's Diner. It's about a 10-minute wait at Mel's Diner. Can't wait. Oh, I can. I will. Well, I'll be. Our table's ready. All right. Thank you.
Hey guys, how we doing today?
how's it going?
Good. My name's Whitney. I'll be taking care of you. How about drinks for you?
Can I get a water and the Pepsi Zero?
Yeah, Diet Pepsi, okay?
Yeah.
And I'll do the same thing, a water and a Diet Pepsi, yep.
Pepsi, thank you.
Our food has arrived at Mel's Diner. I got the grilled chicken with french fries, toast, and applesauce. Haley got a grilled chicken sandwich with french fries. This is really fun. What do you think about Pigeon Forge so far?
It's very festive, very friendly, and very cool.
Now's probably a good time to reveal to you the Airbnb that we're going to. If you look up this area on Airbnb, the first house that pops up is the one that we're going to. The listing title is Belltop Architectural Wonder on Private Mountain. It has an amazing rating. This house is definitely one of the most unique ones that we will have stayed in thus far. It looks so fun. It looks beautiful. And I think you're gonna freak out when you see these photos. It is literally on top of a hill, so the views of the Smoky Mountains are unreal.
I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. Whoa, there's like a yoga room. Another projector. I love those. Have you seen the shower? It's like an entire room. This looks sick. That view is crazy. This is like a mix of Treehouse and Frank Lloyd Wright.
So excited for this next Airbnb, but we can't check in for the next 2 hours. Man, bummer we're not in one of the coolest towns I've ever been in my life. We'll just have a fun time in Pigeon Forge until then. First on the agenda, Wax Museum. Let's go.
Oh, Ryan. Ryan, I think the Wheel of Doom's on.
What?
I think the Wheel of Doom is lit up.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, let's go over there. Our Wax Museum adventure has been abruptly cut short by the Wheel of Doom. How's it going, guys? Sorry.
You're all right.
All right.
The Wheel of Doom has been activated.
Some fellow Wax Museum goers there. Apparently John Cena's in there. Apparently Mr. Beast is in there. It's gonna be a good time if we get to go inside. Before we spin the Wheel of Doom, we're gonna check who donated. No way. T-Mobile donated $100,000. Thank you. We need a big round. It is so pretty. I already said it.
That's crazy.
I can't believe it. Before I reveal what they selected from the Wheel of Doom, I'm gonna read their comment. Hey Ryan, we love an epic adventure, and on a trip like this, we know staying connected matters. Whether you're on the highway or out in the wild. Our network has the most advanced 5G, the most towers, and our signal reaches farther than ever. And now T-Satellite provides you with an extra layer of coverage to keep you connected when you're off the beaten path. It's super easy to use and connects automatically, no app, no extra gear. Sign up at T-Mobile.com/satellite and enjoy the journey. That is so cool. I cannot believe it. Thank you so much, T-Mobile. What a donor. I can't believe it. That's crazy. T-Satellite. Sounds amazing. I love it. Starlink has saved us so many times where I need to upload footage or if we need to get GPS to know our route. It is such a game changer. If you have cell phone service and satellite, you're good to go anywhere. Now it's time to see what you selected. T-Mobile's $100,000 donation means they get to select what happens from the Wheel of Doom. And they have selected... I can't believe I'm about to say this.
No, they split us.
T-Mobile has selected golden tickets!
You little rascal, I thought they were splitting us up.
T-Mobile, you have no idea what you just did. We're not trying to overplay it when we say how much this Wheel of Doom stresses us out. So now we have the T-Mobile golden ticket, which gives us 24 hours of immunity, and we can activate it at any point. If we have a long road trip, and we know for a fact that if we land on reverse card or detour, we're gonna fail. Now we have immunity in our back pocket.
My deepest gratitude to T-Mobile. I've been with T-Mobile since I got a phone, honestly.
Well, where were we? Wax Museum.
Let's see which celebrities I'm taller than. Is this Brad Pitt?
Yes. No way. I had no idea he was gonna be here. This is really how tall he is. He's about this tall. Feastables.
Whoa, his teeth are exact.
His teeth are perfect. Just texted Mr. Beast a selfie with himself. Next stop, ice cream. And last but not least, Joyride Run at Kroger. New store unlocked, getting some snacks and such for the Airbnb. There it is. Let's go. Joyride Run in Tennessee. Here we are, Joyride Gummy Worms, goated. If you guys don't know, Kroger is one of the biggest grocery stores in America, and as of today, you can only get the sour gummy worms at Kroger. Shout out to all the Joyride runners getting Joyride. Boom, 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 boom. You guys are amazing, and if you have a Kroger nearby, be sure to go get Joyride there. We'll be putting Kroger Joyride runners in the videos. Snack for later secured. We also picked up some more snacks and beverages for the Airbnb. I think we're just gonna stay there tonight once we get there, thinking about making sandwiches for dinner. So let's check out and let's get to our Airbnb. I think we found turkeys on the way to the Airbnb. Hey guys, they're taking us, they're escorting us to the Airbnb. All right, you guys show us the way, guys. Show us the way.
Right this way.
We are driving up a huge hill, and I think that means we have arrived to the Airbnb. Oh my gosh. Oh, it looks like there's a storm coming, Haley.
Uh-oh. Or hooray.
Oh, come on. That one's pretty solid. I like it. We made it to the Belltop, one of the coolest Airbnbs in Tennessee. We drove up a massive hill, and we made it. We didn't get stuck this time. 2 states in a row would have been bad.
I do not breathe going up these hills.
But we made it. It is so cool. This house is unreal. I can't wait to go to the top and see the view, but I think the inside is also very cool. You ready?
So ready.
Let's get it. For those of you saying, Ryan really walks in acting like he's seen it for the first time after he put the tripod up in the house. Well, this time I recorded my process. Give me the tripod. This is awesome. Let's explore. First things first, you walk in this big, beautiful, open room. It's gorgeous. The air conditioning vents are in the floor and the windows are actually floor to ceiling. It feels like you're standing outside. It does. The sections of this big room include kitchen. We making sandwiches here tonight? Okay. Got it. Living room with epic fireplace. I've never seen a fireplace like this. There's a piano too. I've been practicing. I got a feeling. There's also a projector and a screen here too. Yeah, we're watching Survivor tonight for sure. On the other side of the kitchen is a game room as well as laundry machines. We are so stinky, this is a blessing. On the outside there's a seating area with a grill. Here's my text thread with my dad today, by the way. If you go through this hallway from the big open room, you arrive to the main bedroom. I love it. It's so cool. W bedroom. Yay!
This is not the nicest shower you've ever seen.
It's like a studio apartment. And finally, if you go up and up and up these stairs, you make it to the top deck viewing area. And I'd say this is definitely the coolest part of the Airbnb. Oh my goodness. Now this is a view. Look at that town in the distance. The Smoky Mountains. Doesn't get better than this.
Oh my gosh. This is beautiful and terrifying.
This is so nice.
I want to see a bear
Whoa.
through the safety of the glass.
Yes. Seeing a bear is kind of on a bucket list, but not. They are scary, but so cool.
I want to go like this.
I don't think they just emote like that. We are watching a storm.
I'm singing.
This is so cool.
Here it comes.
The storm is coming. These gusts are crazy. We're on top of the world. The rain has now reached our mountaintop. It's actually really nice. It's really pretty and relaxing. However, there's a few things I've wanted to do in all 50 states to be able to say, hey, I did that in all 50 states. One of them was get Joyride in all 50 states. I failed in Oklahoma, so I'll have to revisit Oklahoma at some point. Hey, Treetopia is currently #1 for coolest house in America. Might have to go back there to put the trophy on a shelf. Then I find Joyride. But the one streak that I still have going strong for all 18 states that we've been to is I've ran. So yes, it's raining right now, but I want to run in Tennessee. Let's run a mile in the rain. Well, a little bit of rain never hurt nobody. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Going downhill. It's a very steep hill this whole time, so this ought to be fun. Look how steep this hill is. I'm going down there. Holy moly. A few things are motivating me right now to keep this going strong. The first one is Haley's always doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. She's working out as we speak, and her consistency is inspiring. The other thing that's motivating me is some guy DM'd me saying if I can run a sub 5:30 mile during the series, he'll donate $10,000 to St. Jude. And I'm like, are you serious? So frankly, I don't know if I can do it in all these conditions. Like, I'm running on a mountain right now. However, I think I'll have a few states where it's possible, so I'm training. Gotta keep going. Going uphill now. I have a feeling this isn't gonna be under 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Done. 8:44. Not bad. Jammy time. Jammy time has been canceled due to unforeseen events. I'm just kidding. We're just washing my pajamas right now. They're in the wash.
Some people are still participating.
Haley's pajamas have already been washed. I didn't mean to say that it's been canceled and like belittle your jammy time session. I did not mean to do that, and I apologize.
Some people prepare so far in advance to be able to do jammy time. And I showed up.
You showed up and I didn't. And that's the difference between us tonight in Tennessee.
But we are going to be making a very complicated dinner.
In showbiz, they call this one the Turkey Swiss Mayo Deluxe Sandwich with a bit of popcorn and Joyride.
That's what I've heard everyone referring to it as.
You probably haven't heard of it because it's mostly in showbiz in Tennessee. Dinner is served in Tennessee. We got the projector out. We have Survivor on the big screen. Doesn't get much better than this.
It really doesn't. I am loving the projectors. This one is inside. Still love it.
The rain has subsided. There's a beautiful sunset outside. You can see some of the sun. This is sunlight. It's so gorgeous out there. I could get used to this. I feel like this is one of the Airbnbs where I'm like, can we stay? But we can't. We must continue. So we have to soak it up before we leave to our next state tomorrow. I love everything about this house. Sammy time is about to be completed. We've got our Sammys, we've got our popcorn and fun drinks. We've got Joyride for afterwards. Gummy worms are still your favorite?
Sleeper, Joyride candy.
Only at Kroger, that's why. We don't even have Kroger in Austin.
I know. I have to get them from you because you're the candy man.
Let's eat.
Did you fart?
Almost ate it, but I recovered quickly. That's the electric promise.
This was the tree trunk he went over.
My biggest op of 2025 is a freaking tree trunk. Came out of nowhere. Sometimes you gotta watch out for those types of things. There's fireflies everywhere. I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared of much. An unexpected turn of events, Jenny time has resumed. That only took us like twice to try to say it at the same time. Shall we read donation?
Yes.
Before we check donations, I'm expecting a really big jump because T-Mobile donated $100,000 today, made a selection on the Wheel of Doom, and gave us a golden ticket. Just a reminder of the rules of the golden ticket. We now have it and we can activate it at any point. It lasts for 24 hours and gives us immunity from any Wheel of Doom activations. Let's say Mr. Beast donates $50,000 and activates the Wheel of Doom again. We can't play our golden ticket in response to that. It has to be before a Wheel of Doom even gets activated. Meaning, if we play our golden ticket and nothing happens for 24 hours, no Wheel of Doom activations, we just wasted it. So we're gonna have to be very strategic about how we play it. But bottom line is, thank you so much, T-Mobile. You have no idea what you just did for Haley and I. We got a big confidence boost from that. Let's check the new donation total and let's see who donated today. Yesterday, we were at $1,294,399 raised for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Wow. Oh my gosh. $1,433,729 raised. And that's a new fundraising record for our channel.
That is unbelievable.
Wow. Electric e-bikes donated $20,000 today. They made up for yesterday. Thank you, Levi, for letting me ride the bike twice today. That's crazy. Seeing 20,000 in one day makes you realize how much it adds up.
I was just gonna say that.
And they did leave a comment. It says, must be running track because they don't stop, with a runner emoji. It's actually pretty valid. It's a good point. We actually aren't stopping.
We're not, but I never ran track.
We love our top donor, Electric. Thank you so much, guys, for the support. It's unbelievable. Ascend's free debt calculator donated $5,432.10 and said, like St. Jude, Ascend's goal is to provide 100% free help through our debt calculators to blast away debt stress. We love the impact Haley and you are making. Loved Oklahoma Treehouse. Will Brian Mayhem join the trip? Justin and Hinton. And they put their website there as well. Thank you so much, Ascend. That is so generous. I love the mission. Before we say goodnight, I just have to say that today is a really big milestone for me and for this channel and for this series. When I did the Penny series in 2022, we raised $1.4 million for Feeding America. And genuinely, I thought that would be the greatest thing I've ever been a part of in my YouTube career. I gave everything I had to that project, every fiber of my being. I have the shoes that I wore during the Penny series displayed on my shelf in my room because they're just such a symbol of pouring so much into one project and the outcome being worth it. And I think I realized how special it is to use your platform to try to make a difference. And the biggest thing is just realizing that without you guys, I'm nothing. I can't just do this sort of thing by myself. And this 50 state series is no different. For years, I've always wanted to do this with Haley, but about a year ago, I had the idea to do 50 daily vlogs countries and 50 states in 50 days with her. And just for different reasons, St. Jude was on my heart to do the fundraiser for. And every night for the past year, if I'm like falling asleep or something, I'll just come up with an idea of how to make this series a little bit better, and I'll go and write it down on my phone. I'll think of a Wheel of Doom penalty. I would think of what kind of music I want to use, and I would think of what kind of thumbnails to make. And truly, for the past year, I've just poured everything I possibly can into this project. Zach and Cohen are literally working all day long to make these videos as good as they can possibly be. So much work from me and my team has gone into this project, and I just never could have imagined that we would surpass our last fundraiser. It's just really cool when you care so much about something and you see it resonate with people, and you see it make an impact. I think the craziest part is that it is only day 19. I don't know what else to say beyond just thank you so much for supporting this project. Thank you, Haley, for coming with me. Off camera, we just keep saying how lucky we feel to be doing this and how grateful we are to go to these places. I just could not do this without you, and it just means the world that we get to do it together.
I'm just honored to be part of this journey, to be honest.
All that being said, it is only day 19 of 50, which means that this is just the beginning, and the potential for this series is so much bigger than we ever thought. So let's keep going. Tomorrow we go to a new state, a new Airbnb, and tomorrow's day 20.
I'm excited for that milestone.
Such a milestone. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
What's going on, guys? It's Jeff. So they have finally brought back regular Warzone solos. So now whenever I'm spectating or anything, I don't have to think about whether or not anyone is a real person or not, or try to decipher who is and isn't a real person. Regular Warzone solos have returned. Hey, didn't even touch me. So as you guys know, a couple weeks ago, Activision, Raven, whoever is making the decisions with the playlist anyway, ended up removing solos out of the game. Literally the base BR experience. So a staple thing that has been in Warzone since the beginning of it was removed. This is the first time that solos was ever removed for this kind of reason anyway. Now when they added it back, they sounded really excited and happy to bring it back to us. And actually they said verbatim, hey, here's your stupid ass game mode back. Stop crying about it. Here, it's coming back. It's a dead game mode. Nobody plays it anyway, so I don't even know why you want it back, but here, you crybaby. That's exactly what they said. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating, but that's what it felt like. Basically, they brought back solos, and in the post, it explained that solos has consistently been the lowest amount of players in the entire mode. Of solos, duos, trios, quads, solos has consistently always had the least amount of players. So they figured that no one would care if they removed it. All jokes aside, I don't think that's a really good reason to go and remove a base thing, because here's the thing. Even if you were to go and remove solos, right? What's the next step? Are we just removing things based on player count now, even if they're like basic things? Because it's not like there's a million game modes. You have resurgence or normal stuff, and then you can just pick 1 to 4. That's easily less playlists that we end up having than we do in multiplayer. Why are you using the heartbeat sensor right there? You know he's there. You see him. Somebody's flying in. Guys behind the AC unit. A stun and then ran for his life. Okay, I mean, yeah, sure, it might have the lowest amount of players. I didn't know that that was the case, but yeah, I don't play the other game modes though, so I have no idea. And also, I'm sure that I'm part of an even smaller population that like exclusively plays solo, when I do play the mode anyway. Star Wars has been fun. I don't even know what people are playing at the moment. Honestly, I've been locking in and playing a lot of Tekken again. I'm really close. I mean, if I continue the current streak that I have, I'm like 2 more games. If I don't lose, if I just win 2 more games in a row, I'll be Tekken King. And at that point, I mean, if I had ever seen anybody that was Tekken King before, I was like, yeah, okay, that person knows how to play Tekken. Ultimately, are you really good if you're Tekken King? Better than the average player, that's for sure. But you ain't really good. But if you tell someone you're Tekken King, it just sounds good. You know what I mean? It's like when somebody on League of Legends said that they were Challenger or even just Diamond. That's impressive to people that don't really play that much. I want to at least hit a rank like that, you know? Something that I feel proud of. This guy's laying on the ground. Holy shit, man. Evo goes down. He's level 600 and is still reacting like we're still in casual mode. Only difference there is that an AI would not sit there and think about laying down in that corner like that. That shit was psychotic. I'm glad I don't have to sit here and worry about whether or not I'm actually spectating AI, because that shit was driving me crazy. I'm pretty sure I just can't spectate AI, but like even when they're fighting people, like sure, okay, I'm spectating a real person, but when are they fighting a real person? Sometimes it's obvious, other times it's kind of not. Not to mention the people that I'm spectating, I'm getting confused with whether they're AI AI or not, because they play that way. They play very weird, which is really what I look for in this mode. But at this point, I think everybody knows solos, especially at these weird times, like it's 8:30 a.m. at the moment on a Saturday. I'm talking like 3, 4 a.m. This shit is basically the Discovery Channel. You feel like you're watching some sort of documentary on wildlife on some abandoned island that no one's allowed to visit. What's the ecosystem like and how it evolves separate from everything else on the planet? Devo comes right back to where he died at. He wants his shit back. Now, the question is, where did that other guy go? I mean, he could be anywhere. This conversation comes up like every once in a while as well, talking about like IRL versus gaming. Devo goes down, gets hit by a mine first, tries to run away from it, and just gets cleaned up by somebody. I'm not even sure if that was their mine or not. Kaido shot? I don't know. Oh, hold on, wait. Sniper rifle? Isn't that supposed to one-shot headshot? I guess maybe the bullet drop could have been bad. No, stop it. You ain't hitting that. Cracks the armor. Okay, good shot. Still not a headshot, though, unfortunately. You see the head moving right there? Yeah, you see him.
Changing max.
Oh, he's aiming back at him. Jumping around, trying to challenge him. Oh, he cracks his armor. Blading back up, gonna challenge again. Probably. Nope, they're gonna run. Bailing out, 30 players left. There's no game that's like really like super popping at the moment. A lot of like IRL streams and content have been popping off, but like I feel like I've heard this conversation so many times throughout the years as well, especially being in phase with like how like all the content and stuff changed over time. All of the drama between like vlogging, just simple vlogging versus gaming. Realistically though, I think that they absolutely can coexist. They have coexisted. There's no like new big thing at the moment, right? For me, all I'm doing is like spamming Tekken and Night Rain. And Night Rain, for a lot of people, they see it as like, well, it's just Elden Ring, right? It is Elden Ring, but it's not Elden Ring. I was assuming that the game would have like no players after maybe a couple weeks, but I'm still finding myself having an itch every single day to go and play it anyway, whether I'm making a video or not. And the player count numbers for Night Rain on Steam are crazy. Now, the overall content on YouTube, I don't think it has like the same kind of pool or whatever, but that's like the newest, like coolest thing that I can think of at the moment. Of course, we have like all of these single player games, like Death Stranding came out, Expedition 33, Kingdom Come 2, Oblivion. Would have made a video on Death Stranding 2, but I didn't feel like trying to record on my console, to be honest with you. I did not want to turn my PS5 on and make sure that the Elgato and stuff was still working and everything. It always stresses me out. I made content on consoles for years before it was like straight PC. The thing about Death Stranding is like, it's definitely a Game of the Year contender, right? But like as a one-off video, it's kind of hard because I didn't make a video on the first one. Good shots. Got 6 kills, 18 players remaining. It just, there's too many, like, things. I can usually overlook some things, like, oh, I didn't play the first one, so why would I upload the second one? I did that with Kingdom Come, right? So I have that checked off as, like, a thing that would kind of deter me. One or two things, sometimes it won't deter me. But if Kingdom Come was, like, exclusively over on console, I never would have made that. Not because it's just on console, but because of, like, the combination of things. That's usually how I determine, like, whether or not I should go and upload something. Does that make sense? Anyway, there's a huge UFC event going on tonight. Ilia Topuria against Charles Oliveira. There's the whole card, but I'll just talk about the main event mainly. I don't see this fight going 5 rounds. I'll be so surprised. The only way I can see this somehow going 5 rounds is if, like, maybe they really get into wrestling a lot and a little less striking. Now, not that I don't think that they could get a submission or a ground and pound or whatever, but I think that, like, the finish rate potential goes down in comparison to them standing in front of each other, you know what I mean? A lot of people are assuming this fight's gonna end in the first round. Maybe second round at the latest. A lot of people are saying just someone's gonna get dropped bad. Watch it be the most boring fight ever. It can't be. Surely it can't be. Not possible. Neither of them have ever had, like, a boring fight. I do have Ilia, just, there's no way, I can't trust that Charles will, like, stay safe long enough, right? With that said, Ilia's never fought someone this, like, tall, long, hard-hitting, experienced, high-level, supreme confidence. Charles is him. He really is. But we have seen him lose multiple times. We haven't seen Ilia lose. Now, to be fair, we have seen a couple close calls where Ilia got hurt. The main one coming from Jai Herbert, who ended up head kicking him. A lot of people are saying if that's Charles landing that kick, he's done. They might be right. That was quite some time ago, and I'm sure that Ilia is well aware that, you know, after getting kicked in the head, that's not the first time he's been head kicked like that, by the way. That was definitely the hardest kick he took. That's not the first time that opponents have actually caught him with that kind of kick. But the Jai Herbert kick was like a full-blown knockdown and everything, so. He did eat that shit, though. Like, this guy's psychotic. Try to drive up towards the other vehicle that's already up here. Oh, shit, somebody's inside. Oh, throws a sticky, sticks him, knocks him down. Ricky cleans up Ricky. 11 players remaining in this circle. Okay, a couple people are fighting out here. Probably have like around 8 people or so remaining by the time we get back in here. The Liza P stuff was cool, but it's not like super popular. Liza P is not like really that big, which is fine. It's a good DLC anyway. I haven't finished it yet. I have seen the final boss though. Right? He can hear him. Good luck. Yeah, there he is. Cracks the armor. Guy slides around, gets back inside. He's gonna do the loopy-loop while he's plating up, turn back around on him, and still lose. Okay, well, nice try. Anybody that's over there has to come in over here.
You've got gas moving in.
Oh, I didn't even see him right there. Wait, good shots. Kind of good shots. Good eyes, I'll say that. Good eyes, good vision. Here's somebody running around up and behind him. He's slowly coming up. I don't like this. Top three, we know that one's over there. One's very close to him. Oh shit, called it an airstrike on him. Oh, he rotated all the way over there. Has no cover. Needs to plate up. There we go. Got the plates back. Oh, gets cracked again. Needs to plate up once again. Got the 2 plates back. Guy's rotating up. Cleans him up. Needs one more kill. The guy's gonna be down there aiming with a sniper rifle probably, yeah.
Moving to
Throws a smoke grenades. Trying to get rid of the aim assist. Flying down. Gonna get on top of the building. Guy's just gonna run underneath of him. He wants a fair fight. Doesn't want to deal with the height, so he'll just stay underneath of him. And they'll have to fight each other as they come out. Throws a Semtex, and he loses. Okay. Tony Pepperoni. Good job, Tony. Yeah, anyway, for the UFC tonight, I got Ilya. My brain is telling me Ilya, but my heart says Charles. I enjoy watching both of these guys fight, though, so hopefully it's just a good fight. Let me know what you guys are watching or playing. Again, like I was saying, I've been playing Tekken. I've been playing Night Rain. What are you guys playing?
Apple Silicon is so good that even diehard Windows users are turning to Mac. Even the prices are shockingly competitive these days. That is, as long as you choose the starting at configuration. See, the thing is, when it comes to upgrading the base config, Apple quite literally values their memory and storage chips higher than gold by weight, which wouldn't be as much of a problem if you could just buy it now and then wait for prices to fall and upgrade after the fact. But unfortunately, because Apple solders these components to the mainboard, even in their desktops now, that is no longer possible. Or is it? We'll get to that in a moment. First, I want to acknowledge that soldering down components is not inherently bad. For system memory, the signal loss from longer traces, and especially from passing through a connector, is so great that particularly the GPU in Apple's latest silicon could have its performance significantly impacted by using modules. Now, some manufacturers might make different choices, and they might choose modules over cutting-edge performance, but Apple didn't, and neither of those choices is wrong. With that said, for storage, there is no technical reason that it needs to be soldered. To be clear, I'm not saying you could just plunk any PC SSD into your Mac and expect it to work. Apple's approach to storage does think differently, with the biggest difference being that their storage controller is integrated directly into the CPU rather than into the SSD like on this M.2 stick. This offers the advantage of hardware-level encryption through their secure enclave that prevents the storage from being accessed outside of the system it's paired with. But, as Apple's own designs reveal, NAND storage is an order of magnitude slower than RAM, and there is no performance penalty for mounting it to a modular card, as Apple tacitly admits by doing just that in the Mac Studio and the latest M4 Mac Mini. So why then does Apple solder their storage? 1. It's the way they've done it since the first iPhone, and habits are just so gosh darn hard to break. And 2, money. Well, you know what? I'm not giving Apple my money today, and I'm all about breaking bad habits. And I'm gonna do it with some help from Colin. Colin is the host of DOS Dude 1. We're gonna have his channel linked down below. And he is master of the dark art of upgrading non-upgradable Macs.
Today I'm gonna show Linus here how to actually perform these upgrades.
Yes.
And if he does well enough, I'll even let him try on one of his own machines himself.
It's gonna be awesome, just like this awesome segue to our sponsor.
Today, graphic stress, and why your palms will thank you.
Job done. This is quite complicated, as you know. Here we've got a hot air station. We need a decent soldering iron, some solder paste, solder wick, and miscellaneous stuff like that. Some BGA stencils for the NANDs, this underfill removal tool with its little attachments here. And last thing in the list here is a preheater, which just makes the job a little bit easier.
I mean, everything here is something that I could easily obtain for myself. You're obviously highly experienced doing this, but is there any reason that someone couldn't watch this video, follow the same steps as us, and perform the same operation?
Certainly with enough practice, one could certainly do that. I'll show everything that's needed to be done here. It does take skill, it does take a lot of practice.
Okay.
So you absolutely need to practice before you attempt something like this.
Maybe on something dead.
Yes, something dead, absolutely, for sure.
Cool. We don't have to worry about that though, because Colin is going to be doing our first upgrade on my M2 MacBook Air from the 30-day Apple Challenge. I specifically ordered this with just 256 gigs of storage because I knew he was gonna come help me fix it. And what's even better is that the 256 gig configuration comes with only a single NAND chip. So when you upgrade the storage, you also upgrade the bandwidth, which is pretty sick. By the way, that doesn't apply to the M3 and newer. They ended up backtracking on that whole design decision.
So you actually made my life a whole lot more difficult by opting for that 256 gig config, because in addition to having the NAND chip omitted, they also omitted about 50 components on the board, support components for that second NAND chip that I also have to reinstall.
Oh, cool. Question for you. How hard is it to get your hands on A, the NAND for these upgrades, and also those support components?
Yeah, so the NANDs are more difficult, obviously, than the support components, but those can be easily purchased off AliExpress. You just have to know which ones you need for your specific system. Some sellers make it a little bit easier by going by the systems themselves, but that's not common. But the support components can be obtained from any parts distributor such as Mouser or DigiKey.
Mouser and DigiKey aren't exactly known for their affordability. Is this going to make more sense than just buying the higher end config in the first place?
Oh, 100% it will, because even at the worst case scenario, the upgrade cost is usually about half price, including a labor charge, which someone like me would charge if you were to send it in.
Have you ever used our Precision Kit before?
I have not yet, but I do have one that I will be using soon.
Okay, well, I'm not going to bias your first impressions then. I'll let you just do your thing.
When you take these apart, it's a little bit difficult to get the bottom off, but what I find is if you stick a bit in there and kind of just pry it out like this, it gives you a good entry point. And then you can take this and pop the clips.
Oh, brilliant. I guarantee you we won't include little details like that, but what we might do is have an exclusive lmg.gg/floatplane where we have the more in-depth step-by-step of stuff that realistically you can follow any guide how to disassemble a MacBook. We'll stay focused on the stuff that is unique to the NAND upgrades.
Now we've got this shield/heatsink that's on here we have to remove, and that is also held on by some T3s. And this shield is kind of a pain to remove. It's very easy to bend. You don't want to bend it.
And you're quite certain I'm going to be able to do the second one?
You should be able to. The second one should be a lot easier than this one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because I've only ever done one BGA replacement operation, and the board didn't live. And the guy who helped me with it now hates me. That's my track record.
Okay, looking a little grim here, but we'll get there. Now, I should note that this thermal paste here is special goopy black thermal paste, as you can see. You do not want to remove and replace this when you work on these M2 MacBook Airs. Leave it alone and just reinstall it with the thermal paste already applied.
There's nothing aftermarket that could be better than it?
So there is one product. It's called Carbon Black, made by TCRS Circuit up near LA in California. He's actually a good friend of mine. If you can get some of that, you can replace this, but nothing else that exists is suitable to replace this paste.
So if I put a shim and I put liquid metal on it, it wouldn't be good enough?
Nope, don't put liquid metal on this. That's an awful, awful idea.
I'm saying theoretically. Like, is it the performance that's so good, or what's so good about it?
When you use liquid thermal paste, that is only suitable with pressure-mounted heat sinks. So if they have springs or some sort of pressure that holds them against the chip, that is the only case in which you can use liquid thermal paste.
That makes sense.
Because this is not a pressure-mounted heatsink, Apple came up with their custom-designed carbon-based black thermal paste that just smooshes out but retains its goopiness. It doesn't like thin out like liquid paste does,
right?
And it allows it to maintain contact with the SoC. Now is the part where we'll begin the removal process of the original NAND.
Okay, and I guess now is a good time to point out why it's not possible to do a similar upgrade on the memory. You can see here that it is integrated directly onto the package.
It is technically possible to desolder and replace these chips. However, due to the bonding material used between these chips and the actual SoC itself, you cannot effectively remove those without causing damage to both the chips and the SoC. To begin the removal, I actually do it flat on the silicone mat. When you use a preheater, you cause a lot of extra risk in hitting the components around it.
Got it.
You want to try to concentrate the heat on the NAND only.
So our preheater is only for when we apply the new one?
It's for rework and reinstalling the new chips, correct.
Out of a couple dozen pairs of tweezers, you picked this particular set. How do you decide which tweezers are good?
When you're working with such components as O201s, you want very precise tweezers. A lot of times what I do is I take and try to pick up the entire board by one of its components, and the easier you can do that, the more precise the tweezers are. To get started here, I'm gonna start by removing the underfill around the edges of the NAND. I'm gonna start with 280 for this one because you have to judge that based on the thermal mass of the board. So since this is a pretty small and thin board, it'll have a little bit lower thermal mass than some larger, thicker boards.
So this part's not too scary?
This isn't scary. We're just gonna basically take this excess underfill that's squeezed out the edges of the chip and scrape it away. Basically, it becomes brittle with heat, so the more you heat it, the easier it will be to remove.
350.
Yeah, so at 350, you're getting into solder melting temperatures, which you don't really want at this stage, but sometimes you got to. Flakes off nicely there.
This looks like a fancy pants X-Acto knife. What is it?
It is an underfill removal tool designed specifically for what I'm doing. You might notice on the board here that there's not really much room to get this under here.
Yeah.
And for this specific board, I like to take away these two capacitors, just remove them temporarily to get room for my tool to slide under the chip.
I'm starting to become deeply uncomfortable with the fact that it's my turn next.
Don't worry, yours will be a lot easier than this.
What are the odds you, like, brick my $1,000 computer?
Since I've practiced enough on dead boards, I've never messed one up ever before.
Really?
Yep.
So this would be the first time?
This would be the first time if such a thing were to happen.
If it were to happen, which it won't. And we're just looking for the solder to turn shiny so that we can tell that it's able to be removed. Okay, what did we just set it to, 380?
380 for the final removal of the chip.
And this time we've got a different blade on our little X-Acto knife here, and we're just gonna slide that under and what, just lift it off?
What I'm gonna use this for is sliding it under the chip, and then we're gonna get it under there and just push it off the board.
Okay, so the thing that I just said, but more words.
A good rule of thumb with this is when you stick this under here, it should feel like a cold knife through butter. So if it's any more difficult than that, you're not fully molten under there.
That's an expression I've not heard before. Here it is. Cold knife through butter time. Woo! Okay, now you flipped that up really fast. Is there any risk if you didn't have full flow that you could like rip a pad off if you were to do that move?
Yes, but I made sure it was fully, moving before I did that.
Got it.
So once it was fully loose, I just kind of flipped it up and out of the way. I need to remove all this underfill, and in order to do that, the solder has to be molten as well as the underfill brittle enough that I can scrape it away.
And you do these kinds of upgrades on like Steam Decks and...
Basically anything that has soldered RAM or storage, like you said, Steam Decks. I mainly do Apple stuff. I do like to work on the Apple stuff.
Now, I know that Apple has in the past had issues with like hardware pairing of, the NAND chip and the SoC. Was there any preparation process that we had to do before we just ripped this off and put a new NAND chip on there?
Nope. So the new NANDs I have are brand new NANDs that are blank with no firmware on them. And once we install them onto this board, the DFU restore process will program them appropriately.
Very cool. And this can just be discarded, I guess, then, because no one would want a 256 gigabyte NAND chip.
Yes, exactly.
You asked for this. Now you have it.
I need to use that to hold the board, pull it out a little bit like that. As you can see here, there is a bit of solder mask damage, and that was simply because I think these underfill tools are made of some sort of different material than the ones I'm used to, and they're a lot sharper, so they kind of dig in a little bit easier.
Okay.
In an ideal world, you don't want any of that. We might have to go back and fix it, but I don't think so.
How do we fix that?
You use that stuff, that solder mask right there, and you basically put it on there, in those areas, and then you scrape the pad area away.
Okay, well hopefully we don't have to do that.
We'll find out real quick here if this solder mask issue is gonna be an issue.
Right now we're just reballing these or what?
I'm just tinning them up to prepare to actually remove all the solder.
Oh.
And it's easier to add leaded solder to it and then remove it than just to remove the straight lead-free solder.
And we use leaded solder because it's just plain gosh darn easier to work with.
Way easier to work with, like there's no comparison.
But we also support the use of lead-free solder in industry because there's less lead in it. Okay, those all look like they tinned up pretty nicely.
Yep, and the solder mask damage is not deep enough to cause any issues at all. If it did, you'd see the solder I just put on there stick to those parts.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised because we can see the copper color, but we haven't gone all the way down to the bare metal.
Yep.
Wonderful.
And again, I don't do that usually.
Right, so now we're using a solder wick.
Yes, solder wick.
Rate our station out of 10.
I'd say it's a good 9 out of 10.
Really?
8.5, 9 out of 10. It's a lot better than my setup, so I can only say so much.
Now we're refluxing to put those caps back on.
Yep, I'm gonna reinstall those real quick here.
Oh, is there a reason we do those first instead of doing the NAND first?
It doesn't really matter. I could do them after.
Pro tip, make sure you put them on the right way, hey? And how do you make the judgment call whether to put new solder or reuse the original solder?
It just depends. If it's a small component, I'll always replace the solder because it's so hard to get them to actually stick. But with something big like these capacitors, I'm just gonna use what it's got. Now we need to deal with all these pads here for the extra components that we have to install.
Yes.
So first, I'm gonna put some flux on them. And for these, I am going to re-tin them all with leaded solder.
As a late 30-something, I think the most remarkable part of this for me is watching him do this without any magnification or assists. I see you've obtained from laptopschematics.com Apple schematics. Apple doesn't, provide these, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. But I acquired it. I need it for this job, and we're gonna use it to get all these components installed.
Eat a Apple.
So if you take a look at this schematic here, some of the components, you can see all this row of decoupling capacitors right here, these 0.1 microfarad, 2.2. I just omit those. I do install a couple of them, like these 20 microfarads here. And then same here, I just kind of omit all these smaller value ones. And that'll still provide enough decoupling for this NAND to work effectively. The engineer who designed this would probably be cringing right now as I'm saying this, but just due to time constraints and just the immense tedious nature of doing this, they're just going to be omitted. It works just fine. I start out with the top here, PP1V25 Awake NAND.
Yeah, so this is power, right?
Yep, one of the 3 power rails that each NAND requires. That resistor, RN110, O201s, very small.
Uh-huh.
And for these, we only need 1.
Thank God. And how do you tell the difference between that and random debris on your pad?
You can see the little shiny parts of it. Find the component that I probably just got stuck to the bottom of my hand. Yep, there it is.
This is ridiculous.
It's double the size of 01005s. They use those on iPhones.
Cool. How do you check if you did it right?
So I just look at it, and then I actually did it a little bit during the process. I measure them if I ever have a question about which one is which.
I noticed you switched off of the tweezers you were using before.
Yes, they were slightly magnetic.
I had asked him before, aside from precision screwdrivers, if there's any other tools he felt, could be improved. So make sure if we ever do tweezers, they're non-magnetic.
Yeah, definitely not, because they pick up the little components and you can't work with them or place them. So now with that all out of the way, we need to get this solder off of there. So I'm gonna put it back on the preheater and remove that, and then we'll get the NANDs reballed and prepare them to be installed.
Heck yeah. We ready to put the NANDs on now?
Yep, we're ready to put the NANDs on. And thinking about that, there's one thing I use in my daily setup that I don't have here, and that is an optical drive. And I use that just as a platform. It has a thin aluminum panel, doesn't retain much heat, and allows me to heat the NANDs while pushing down on them with tweezers.
I will obtain you something.
My MacBook.
Couldn't find an optical drive, but hear me out. Old LG Gram.
That'll work just fine. This feels like plastic.
I know.
I guess we'll find out.
That's how they made it weigh less than a kilogram. Here's our NAND chip.
Each one is 1 terabyte.
Sick. So I'm going from 256 gigs to 2 terabytes for a couple hours worth of labor compared to the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that Apple would charge me for that upgrade.
Yep.
You're right. It's like a no-brainer.
It really is. It really is. If you have the skill to do this, it definitely is worth it.
Even if you don't. Send it to someone?
Yeah, it even is worth it to pay someone to do it for you.
Question for you though, what do we know about the quality of this?
Yes, so these NANDs I buy are brand new, at least sold to me that way, and with this particular seller, I've never had any problems. These are Apple NANDs, so once you install these, there is literally no difference between putting these on yourself or buying them on the machine from Apple.
They taste the same?
Probably.
One difference I noticed from the original NAND is that it is physically thicker.
Yeah, it literally is a higher stacked die inside the chip. What I usually do is I have some Kapton tape and I cut it and use that to attach the NANDs to the bottom of the stencil. You can actually feel when it goes into place because it has a little bit of solder on it. That makes it a little bit easier.
Okay, because I was really impressed.
To get this reballed, we're gonna be using solder paste, which looks like this. Essentially what this is a bunch of tiny solder balls suspended in flux. To clean all the solder paste off, I just kind of take it and, perpendicular, and it just cleans it right off. So with that done, we're ready to take the hot air and melt the solder paste into position.
And it'll make little balls.
So with this, you want to go pretty slow with it. You don't want to heat it too quickly at once because that will cause the solder paste to run underneath the stencil and could cause problems. The thermal mass of our LG Gram might be a little high.
Okay, so it's just a matter of getting our temperature dialed in for our situation here.
Yep.
Well, that was worth it. We have some slightly thicker solder balls.
Yep, but we're not done yet though. We have to heat it one more time with no stencil to make sure everything lays flat on the chip. Okay, so there's one fully done and ready to be installed.
Nice. I think it's so cool that enterprising right to repair folks managed to figure this stuff out, not just, you know, in the absence of Apple's help, but with them in some cases actively working against this kind of thing.
It's actually kind of surprising they make it this easy. There's no pre-programming required, which was the case on the older T2 Macs.
I mean, wow, that is really hunting for a W for them there, but sure.
You know, the programming part is a whole other situation, so to not have to deal with that is good.
Less ass, at least.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it.
Okay, cool.
All right, now it's literally just solder them on the board and do a DFU restore. I'm using the board view here to reference which position pin 1 goes on each chip, so you can see the pin 1 dot right there. These pads I would consider huge compared to most pads. Like I've done these before, I've done the SoCs.
By hand.
By hand, yeah.
Well, I'm impressed.
The other NANDs we're gonna be working with is BGA 315, which is this footprint. These are a lot tighter. You kind of feel when they have a little resistance, that's when they're hitting the pads. Perfect. This one, I kind of want to get pretty perfect because of the solder mask issue.
Right, to make sure we don't accidentally bond to any of the exposed copper.
Yep, exactly. So now we just have to heat with the hot air to solder them into position. One thing you can do to make sure is just tap it with some tweezers. You want to see it move.
Oh yeah, she moves.
So that's perfect there.
Oh, there she goes. Ooh, she sucked down really nice.
And that's it, we're done. So now we just have to do a DFU restore.
I've always kind of wondered about people like you, where you seem to both completely recognize all of Apple's horse and yet somehow retain something of a reverence for them.
I love Apple, as you can probably tell, and I like it because it's a challenge. Like some of them are a challenge like these. It's just kind of fun to work on. And I like the software. If you had to give me Windows 11 or the latest version of Mac OS, it's a night and day difference to me. I would never consider using Windows 11 in any circumstances. The reason I've got everything disassembled here, in addition to making it easier to take it back out to do extra work if needed, there's also some pads you can see right here, and one of which is used to put the machine in DFU mode. Now, if you just plug it into power as is, it's going to boot loop and make it extremely difficult to use the keyboard commands to do it. So I like to do it this way because you can just plug it in with those pads shorted and it will go straight into DFU mode. And because this resistor isn't populated, I actually have to short from that pad to this pad.
And why would that resistor not be populated?
Because it's part of the debug bomb and it's not stuffed on this board because it's not a development board.
How much does that resistor cost?
For them at scale, probably like less than a cent. I need to short that pad to this pad.
Okay.
And there it is.
Revive Mac or Restore Mac?
Hold Option and click Restore Mac, because I already have the software downloaded.
So intuitive. Such intuitive software. You're right, this is so much better than Windows 11. Hold Option to do it.
Okay, and then I need to select 15.5, latest version. If the NANDs get programmed improperly due to my mistakes with putting those components on, the NANDs are unusable at that point, so that's always fun. Hit it.
Whoop, hold on. That happened right after you cut the camera. We got an Apple logo. I assume that's a good sign.
That's good so far. The slightly filled progress bar is what I'm really looking for, because if it gets to that stage, it's good.
Yes, there we go. All right, let's go.
We're good. We're good.
Should we wrap there for today and I take my run at it tomorrow?
Sure. We'll let this finish, make sure everything looks good, and there it is, right there, 2 terabytes.
2 terabytes, baby!
Heck yeah.
Freaking awesome. And the best part is I'm probably never gonna use more than like 30 gigs of it. I use network attached storage for everything.
Well, the upgrade itself is the fun process here, so that's all that really matters.
Speaking of which, is it my turn?
It is your turn, so...
Okay, what are we gonna do it on?
Well, we've got a pile of Macs here for you. I would advise starting with the M4 Mac Mini. I think that's going to be the easiest one for a beginner to attempt.
Okay, I'm gonna do it then. In its stock configuration, this is a pretty affordable machine, so no big deal.
And it has a module.
But in its upgraded configuration, it's so valuable. I stand to lose so little and gain so much.
We also do have 2 of these, so if you break it, we can just movie magic it.
Through the magic of buying 2 of them.
Yeah, as they say.
Feel free to supervise, because I can't remember how this one comes apart. Hold on, don't tell me the answer.
Just be careful with it. It likes to break. Good.
All right, so did we just do all of these?
Yep, all 8 of those, and then there's 2 T3s in the middle. And I usually just leave that plugged in. Yep, just take the fan off. There's just 2 T5s there holding it in.
And there it is.
And there it is. And that's just a T8.
So we've got 2 NAND packages.
Yep.
And they are opposite each other. Yes. Step 1, heat it up and scrape away the shmoo.
Yep, that's right.
Let's go. Okay, where's our hot air gun?
Not ready for that just yet.
Oh.
First, you got to put it in the board holder.
We want it oriented this way, so that we can more easily slide our tool in from the side that has no surface mount components in the way. All right, now heat gun.
First.
Nope, not heat gun.
First, prepare your tool.
Do we use the top scraper or the
tip,
bottom one? We like the tip. Okay.
And when you do this, you want to be pretty gentle with it as to not scrape away the solder mask like I accidentally did with your other one.
So do as you say, not as you do. So I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna say 330.
No.
But you ended up at that high.
That was a bigger board. This has way less thermal mass, and it's elevated, so the mat won't sink any heat.
Okay, 279.
250.
250.
Just concentrate it straight to the chip.
I'm totally gonna do this, Alex.
I would give you probably like a 67% chance of winning here, but
67% or 60 to 70?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd give it about a 45%.
What? 45?
I know how this goes.
How all of it do I need?
Like I said, you don't have to be too thorough with this. As long as you get a separation of some sort between those components, you're good. Call that good?
I'm gonna call that good on this part.
Okay.
So now we heat it up and we try to get under it?
Yep.
I'm thinking 300 now.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Let's go. Cold knife through butter, baby.
You'll start to feel when it starts to get trapped under there, which is exactly what you want.
Let's go, boys.
Okay.
Step 1, complete.
Now, cleaning. While you're doing this, please make sure not to touch any components.
Right, because we're at a solder melting temperature, so they would just move. So we're getting the underfill and the solder off right now, hey?
Yes, yep, that's right. That looks pretty good, actually. That looks really good. I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Oh, ye of little faith. All right, now we go lower temperature and we get all the rest of the black shmoo off.
Yes, 250.
250, all right.
When you remove that, you want to make sure the stuff on the sides is pretty flat, because the new NANDs we're going to be installing are actually wider than the originals. A little bit is not going to hurt anything when we reball it. It's going to have enough height to make up for any of that. The closer you can get it, the better. Oh, I'm 100% confident in that. You're good.
That's the first 100% confidence I've ever gotten from my teacher. Okay, I'm gonna think we put on flux and then we put on solder paste.
Fluxy and solder.
Let's go, boys.
But no solder paste on the board. You'll use the spool of solder with the soldering iron to clean off all the original, the residual.
So I'm gonna put on
just enough to cover it.
Okay, give me my new odds based on what you've seen so far.
Okay, we're hitting a good 90%. I'm gonna go up to 90%.
90%. Take that, Alex. Colin gave me 90% now.
yeah, he gave you 45 at first.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, now you can really see
There
that the
we go.
solder's being removed.
Look at her go. Let's go, bud. I just needed more surface contact.
Yep.
So I'm just using the fatter part of the tip, and now it's working great, bud.
You got it. Yep, I don't see any issues. Let's go. So now just clean it with rubbing alcohol and paper towel.
With both sides clean, it's time to reball.
You got your stencil first here.
Oh.
And let me grab the new NAND.
Oh, it has little piggies on it. Why does it have piggies on it?
The seller I buy these from in China always puts little stamps on them like that.
Adorable. And these are 1 terabyte each?
1 terabyte each, correct.
It's not as much thicker this time, though. Okay.
They're definitely getting the density down with these newer ones for the newer systems.
Very cool.
Now, I know that stencil has 4 footprints, but the way the stencil warps, I would highly advise doing just 1 at a time.
Sure, that makes sense. Okay, now if I recall correctly, I pull this off and then we heat it up so that we ball.
Don't pull it off yet.
No, we ball it first?
Yep, heat it first. Let's go 330.
330.
Because remember, press the button, and before you heat, take these tweezers and keep pressure on the chip.
It's harder for me to tell when it starts shimmering when it's all fresh solder balls.
Yeah, that's perfect. I don't see any problems there. Okay, so one last step is apply a decent bit of flux to the center of it. Perfect. And heat it again with the hot air.
All right, because I'm elite hacksaw, I'm gonna say pin 1 is top left.
Nope.
Damn it!
All right, that's good.
All right.
Now take and carefully align your chip to the pads.
Right there.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Not.
It's impossible to describe, but you can kind of feel it.
I told you, you can feel it.
Yeah. Now we go to
Heat
330,
300.
300.
And just kind of hold it at a specific spot and just wait. And I wouldn't recommend you tap it on this one.
Tap it? Oh, I wasn't gonna tap it.
Okay, good. Once you see the flux start bubbling out of the sides of it, that usually means it's done.
Okay.
So you're
Yeah,
done.
I'm seeing bubbling, so
You're done.
It didn't move at all.
That's just because your alignment was so perfect that it just went straight down and you couldn't see it.
Okay, that's pretty sick.
And wait for it to cool down just a little bit and then hit
Then
it.
we can do the other one.
Yep. And then you got to do this all over again. I couldn't ask for a better result than that.
So am I hired?
You're hired, man.
Let's go. Now it's time to put it back in. Just get my T5 and my T3 queued up so I don't have to keep reaching into the thing. Oh yeah, what a feature. Look at it go. LTT Precision Screwdriver, lttstore.com.
Short those 2 pins.
Okay. I'm 100% confident right now.
Let's hope. I hope.
You mean
Okay,
hope?
we're in DFU mode. That's a good sign so far.
This is the part where this bar is gonna start moving.
Yep, let's hope.
And this is the part where if Apple didn't cheap out and they were willing to put touchscreens on their Macs, I would be interfering with the process.
Once that progress bar starts filling, just like the other one, then we're good.
No, we're good now.
No, we failed, dude.
What? That can't be right. An error occurred while formatting the NAND.
That means either the NAND's incompatible or improperly programmed. So, I think we might be SOL here. However, we still have an option to go to 1 terabyte with some extra chips I have.
That was shockingly fast. So I have 1 terabyte of storage then?
Yes, 1 terabyte using my backup chips that I luckily decided to bring with me.
That's fine. So I still got a very significant upgrade,
Oh, yeah,
4x
for
the
sure.
storage, and I got a learning experience.
Yeah, and nothing you did messed anything up. Nothing was your fault. So it was just bad chips and incompatible NANDs. So.
And I think that's probably a good thing for people to take away from this video is that while, yes, you know, we can work around Apple's limitations, it isn't, even for an expert, completely without risk.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that it isn't worth the effort. I mean, for every person who contacts you and, you know, ultimately gets their machine upgraded, they get 2 benefits.
Yep.
1, they save money, and 2, they keep a machine that potentially they couldn't use anymore because of its limited hardware
Exactly.
out of the garbage bin.
Yep.
Which is pretty important to me anyway.
Unlike a lot of people, you did not mess up the board when removing the underfill, which a lot of people do, so that's pretty impressive.
I had a very helpful supervisor. Yeah, we shouted out your channel earlier, but hey, now we're showing it. Go check him out, DOSDude1. We'll have him linked in the video description. Thanks so much for coming up here, Colin.
Yep.
And thanks so much for enduring me telling you about our sponsor. Maybe by wearing these shoes from Vessi, but I love my sandals.
Vince is not gonna sponsor us if he keeps wearing those sandals, so I'm gonna steal them. There must be a reason why Linus is so obsessed with sandals. I got to find out. Maybe they're actually better than Vessi. I spent 20 seconds putting them on, and I just slip right into Vessi. 1 second. Breathability though, I give a 5 star. But I don't want to show off my ugly toes. Maybe it's waterproof. Of course not. You think of Vessi? How about the look? Vessi strikes again. The ugly sandals are nearly 20% heavier. Mission complete.
Zupa, ela, merma.
Wow.